Yeah, the track is a Danger Zone by Black Sabbath. Yeah, I expect nobody's ever heard this before, and there's probably a reason why. Black Sabbath does have a catalogue of tracks, and I don't know, look at the Wikipedia page quick and see how many there really were. And they've had different members through the years. Okay, they're not showing this on wiki for some reason. So they've got the original lineup: Tony Iommi, obviously, Bill Ward, Geezer Butler, and Ozzy. And yeah, they made a lot of studio albums. Like, how many years? Like, it's 5, so about 20. Well, actually 19 in total. Which is crazy, and this is the 12th album called Seventh Star. And there's been a lot of different, like, Black Sabbath albums with different volumes of heaviness and obviously rock. And you can really start to hear that after something like Volume 4, Volume 4, maybe even Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, but Sabotage especially was kind of more like a hard rock album above anything else. Never Say Die as well. Ironically, the song sounds like a track from Sonic Unleashed, that named song. I'm always fascinated by that. And then Born Again, Seventh Star, and Eternal Idol, Headless Cross, and Tear. I don't think I've actually ever listened to Tear. Listened to Dehumanizer, but maybe not Tear. Then Cross Purposes. I don't know if I've ever listened to that. Forbidden, I don't think I've listened to that either. Just crazy to think about, and then obviously they had 13. Yeah, this track is interesting because it's really underrated, in my opinion. I think that it has a lot of potential to become popular, but I think it's let down by the vocals. Because ironically, the other Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins, that just has better vocals, in my opinion. And it's obviously like that for a reason. It's just epic. Some great build up and tension too. And this track is more like a sort of, I'd call it like melodic. I don't know if that's the correct term, but that's sort of what it's going for with the rhythms and the harmony, and also the vocals. To be fair, I would say the vocals are still the worst part of this track, but everything else is just good. And I do appreciate these sort of tracks. I also appreciate a lot of tracks from Sabotage, from that album, Symptoms of the Universe. Planet Caravan, I can't remember which one that was from. That was also pretty good. It's been a long time since I've heard that. I can't even remember the last time. But there are like many others, and Black Sabbath just has such a interesting catalogue of music, as usual. And as people have noted, they are pretty much the band who kickstarted stuff like this, who started like metal. And this track also sort of sounds like metalcore to me. I could be wrong. But almost like the start of metalcore, I guess. No, maybe it's not. Maybe the start of it. But again, it's very melodic and has the harmonies working together as well. Even though this isn't like metal, it's more like hard rock. Still a very fun track. A lot like some of the other underrated ones. It's hard to pick my favourite Black Sabbath song. I quite like Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. That just has such an interesting vibe. It has one of the most interesting bridges because it's like a clean part, and then it goes into like some straight up metal stuff. It's kind of crazy. As is a lot of Black Sabbath stuff, to be fair. Yeah, I really think it's just kind of an interesting track, and people really need to give Black Sabbath a try if you haven't. Even if you're like very into modern metal, you might find something you like in this. You never know. It's entirely possible. Anyway, better move on. So, yeah. I feel like discussing this. It feels relevant and important. You know, I'm probably on some countries is this, and leaderships is this, like, not most wanted, I wouldn't say it's like most wanted, but more like most threatening, I suppose, lists. And I say this as someone who, I consider myself pretty passive and maybe passive aggressive, it's more accurate. I don't exactly know what to call that. But I think of this because I'm someone who values truth above all else. However, when it comes to politics and societal beliefs, there is honestly something about the truth that is scary to a lot of politicians. And this is why I consider myself one of the biggest threats to these sort of people. Because every time they're trying to do something corrupt, I'll be there to call them out on it, because there is something inherently wrong with that. And we can prove that beyond a, feasible doubt, I think it's a term. I can't remember the term now for some reason. But this is exactly what I mean when I say I'm like the most wanted person alive almost, and other people are probably as well. But being unbiased and following the truth is in itself a position where you just cannot argue against it, because it is literally the most objective you can be. It's like the most objective of all beliefs. It's not to say there aren't any that are necessarily wrong. There are definitely a lot of false beliefs, but I will say that this is a position that is really hard to fight against. Literally, I've tried fighting against it for years, and to realise that you can't. You cannot fight against this belief, being unbiased and truthful. It's impossible. I'm yet to see someone successfully do it. And even then, what's it going to take as well? It's a question that comes to mind. Yeah, again, I feel like I am sort of in danger in a way, just because of this position that I hold. Because it's so close to the truth, and it does favour, again, many things that would be against these corrupt politicians and leaders and just anyone to do with business. It serves to basically rally against them and defeat them. So yeah, of course, I'm going to be like the most wanted threat. Not the most wanted criminal, that's a different thing entirely. But the most threatening person potentially to exist, yeah. I think that much could be true, and I'm not saying I am the most. It's just for lack of a correct term, really. It's just being among a list of people. Because I know that other people who believe what I believe. Perhaps not as closely, but some certainly do. And I think that is important. But people need to acknowledge that, I should be essentially protected from this, because corruption is a big danger to our society. And it will just cause disruption and panic among many, because there's so much risk involved, and what I'm doing as well, there is actually insane risks. People don't realise it, but it is insanely risky, and I do this for the good of the people. And that's probably the only bias I have. But literally, it's like the biggest thing here. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I just think this is a very important discussion that should be had. See, people should be aware of it too. And then it's kind of like that thing with like Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy theories. Where people are saying like, remember, this guy is not suicidal. And that confused me for so long, by the way, because I just didn't understand why people were saying that. It's like, what? So, Jack Black isn't depressed? Like, okay, sure. Great news, I suppose, but what's the point? He just started to think, what does that mean? And eventually someone actually explained it, because I didn't know what the fuck it meant, because search terms weren't working, because they seem to think everything relating to suicide means you need a call to the Samaritans, which is not the case. And this is the problem with search engines. They are actively killing suicidal people, because all the resources are fucking useless and they're outdated. Again, I follow the truth here. that sort of shit is not helpful to anyone in that position. So it has to be acknowledged, for sure. This is why I bring it up. Again, that's why it's a pretty dangerous position to have. And people don't realise that. It's just frustrating. Because ideally, people should be acknowledging this, people should be truthful. But we don't see nearly enough of that, instead biases get in the way. Asses. That is the issue here. And until people get over their own corruption, there's not really much room to change. If you want Trump out of the government, if you want Trump to stop fucking with things around the world, you vote him out and you make sure people do that. There's no questions about it. There's no ifs or buts. You get him out. That's it. Whatever way it takes. And that's the truth. Again, that's why I would be considered one of the most threatening people alive. Among one of the most threatening people alive. Because of that position. Because of this truth that I know. So, of course it becomes a struggle. And of course I have to fight to survive. So yeah. I just find this frustrating, as I keep saying. Hopefully people catch on. Anyway, let's move on. Well, I'm pretty much over the 5,000 hour mark for Final Fantasy XIV at this point, and it is on route to be the most played game I've ever played. For lack of a correct terminology. Yeah, I think I should probably explain things about this. I'll starve to death from to prepare for a colonoscopy. Yeah. But yeah, like, I suppose how I made the commitment, and I guess it's just to do with trying to enjoy the avenues of the game that it has. Because even though I would love to, nothing more than to just go and play a different game, as I did recently. Actually, I played Mika the Witch's Mountain. That was amazing. But I feel like for a game of this size, there is so much to do that you just can't avoid it, because some things are repeatable, like weeklies, dailies, and some things are just really difficult to get if you don't do that. So you're sort of forced to play. So I play about from an hour to 3 hours a day, perhaps more, as in today's case, weeklies, probably all day. So it's about 8 to 12 hours I'm playing. And yeah, that's because of necessity in this game. Because of the things you need to do to stay on track, to keep up to date. And I suppose that is like a big downside towards the game, because it does mean that you are spending most of your time doing the grind, but I just wonder, maybe that's just part of the fun in a sense. Because the more I think about it, the more I realise actually this commitment is kind of what I needed anyway, to be able to play the game on a weekly basis and, you know, daily for the adventures and stuff, which I'm still trying to get a minion for. Because technically I only need to log in once a week after that, which is fine for me. Honestly, I don't mind that. And I also need to rack up my, MGP and stuff. So I want to max it out so I can actually be able to get the things that are spendable with that. So like, for example, the Regalia Type G, when that comes back, hopefully, because I fucking love that mount. It looks so cool. Even though I wasn't a fan of 15 too much, I liked parts of it, hated other parts. But I love that colour. It brings back memories. It makes me feel nostalgic, and I only played that 4 years ago, I think. Yikes. But still, I'm experiencing this game at its fullest, and I think the best way I'm doing that too is by going through the Grey Quest, because the Grey Quest can be kind of interesting and entertaining. Still remember some of them, some goofy in the nose show, I can't remember which one it was. I think it's like a drunk guy or something. And there was something else in Vanaland, was it? Oh, I'm still remembering. Yeah, Vanaland. It was like a part in the desert where there's like this cult, I think. It's fucking weird. It's quite entertaining. But you sometimes discover gems like that, and you have to remember as well, like an area like A Realm Reborn is going to have so many quests, and compared to the 6 that you have in zones in later expansions, it's not nearly as tedious. So I'm willing to go through that at my own pace, admittedly. But I guess I'm committed to playing now just to see everything through and get into Evercold as well. Because I kind of look forward to Evercold. There are some things in that which I didn't expect, which I kind of look forward to. Like Evangelion raids and the Final Fantasy VII normal raids. And also just the story and the characters, also the new tank. I think it's really cool. Quite looking forward to playing Bastion. I've already got a glam figured out for Bastion. Hint, it's a piece of underwear you get from the delivery removal quest in Melomania. Well, it's sort of a spoiler. Only a little one, obviously. But I think it'll be interesting. But yeah, in terms of like things I keep track of, I've got an entire list. I do S ranks instead of Blue Mask Carnival because Mask Carnival is infuriating. It's no fucking point in stressing yourself over. It makes S ranks a bit easier to do, to be honest, because even though it's longer than doing an A train, but the A trains are risky because the only content you can do is legacy content, and that content it rewards Aetheryte tickets if you get the currency like allied seals and hunt seals, I think. But for some stupid reason, they don't do it for nuts, which would be really handy because there's barely any use for nuts other than buying random gear or just trading it up for something. It's extremely fucking annoying. Speaking of which, do they have the solvents now to just be purchasable by default? Because that would save grinding these fucking things. I hate the coins. Yeah, let's go through the list of the FFXIV things to do. I've got like a day's thing, sort of, almost. Things that I could do in that time. I've still got galleries, screenshots on mounts, crafter quests to do. Technically, I've never picked them up. I was just getting them because there's no point. Yeah, it's pointless to do that because of the thingies. You level it up from stage 1 via the Allied Society quests by, I will say names, the insect people, I think. They're not insect people, are they? Amalga, I think. And that's easy enough to do, so that's why there's so many crafter quests and stuff to get through that. Because there's no point in doing anything else. And then I want to max out or get a new set maybe for Dragon Moon? Sure. Getting a new set for Dragon would be great, I think. Because I feel like my current one is a bit too sci-fi-y. That wasn't my intention though. And then, what else? After that I've got the Triple Triad collection. Unfortunately, I'm not going to max it, but I'm going to get as many as I can. And then I've got quest trees, like things I've found randomly from like class quests maybe. Because I found a Black Mage class quest before I somehow even completed it. Even though I maxed out Black Mage by then. Just very weird. Some strange things like that in this document. And then I got the weeklies, which are interesting. I also keep track of roles I've played. Well, roles, I don't mean jobs. Like I've just played Paladin, so I'll put Paladin down as my last play, and then my next one is going to be Scholar. So that makes it easier to farm things out and get an equal amount of playtime and everything, and it's led to me even figuring out the Sage thing that I mentioned before. And then got weeklies to do. What's this? S ranks, obviously the first one I mentioned. Custom deliveries, then Third Walk, obviously the latest Alliance raid. Then Photo Hollows, and then the Minoic's Cap. And what's the next one? Wondrous Tales, if I complete it, that is. Technically I have. Yeah, I've almost completed it today. Not always possible though, that's a weird thing. Depends on my day too. Let's see what else. Then there's Fashion Report on Fridays, and then the Jumbo Cactpot on Saturdays. So I keep busy in this, and Teleco would still need to log in each week for those things. But it's still doable. I think the least favourite thing I do at the moment is probably faux hollows. Admittedly, this one's a bit easier with time. It's not perfect, it's a bit difficult in areas. Chatfield bash. Yeah, I think I have fun in areas, but it's not all areas, and I think that's kind of the issue. Because I tried like a Crescent recently to get to North Thorn because I wanted to do the relic quest easier, but it's still a grind. And the problem is I hadn't unlocked it. I didn't even bother finishing the story quest, so I thought, okay, maybe I don't need to do anything. I asked on the subreddit and they said, no, you probably don't need to do anything, and I just didn't do anything. Because I hated Coral Crescent. And then it turns out you need to do something to get to North Thorn. Oh, great, thanks. Fucking great communication, developers. They're just so fucking bad. That's the thing with this game, it's very consistently bad. They make baffling decisions like this Yokai Watch event. I'm not a fan of Yokai Watch, it looks terrible. But for some reason there's RNG on the fucking legendary seals. Like, it took me 6 fates to get these, so it's like a 50% drop rate, I believe. But why? There's 21 fucking weapons to get, each require 5 of these, and then you've got some random shit to buy, like furnishings, although I'm not fussed about them, but there's also minions you have to get as well. I'm not even sure how to get the minions. The communication is terrible. It's not even saying on the page that you need 5 medals to get the fucking weapons, the glam. So I don't understand it. It's just so stupid at times. It's almost funny, but it's almost also really stressful. And they do this consistently. They add like arbitrary rule sets to things, like the fates here, obviously. Then the mathematics, for example, that you get from this dungeon, from doing expert roulette reward 60, and then you get 40 mnemonics. But it doesn't tell you that for some reason you need to, rather you obtain a certain amount of that currency from this. Like, it's so fucking weird. But just from the dungeon, not from the roulette. You get it from other things. I think you can even get it from first type rewards, which is very interesting. So yeah, it's like very strange. It's a lot of stupid decisions like that, and in my 5,000 hours I'll never get used to it. I would have thought I might have by now, but I don't. And look, I can show you. There. Get all that. No poetics, weird enough. I think they should reward poetics, only a bit. No, I don't need any of that, let them have it. But yeah, like, the end game becomes very sort of grindy and boring. It's really hard to sort of get around that. Also, this fate is still here. Also, that's a stupid thing. They keep not labelling those things, and I'm not going to reach that in time. It's just very stupid. They don't label it properly for some fucking reason. Like, great. You, the developers, are just something else entirely. Not human, I don't think. It's just fucking weird. It's like they implement systems before they even test them. That's what it feels like a lot of the time when I play games like this. It sucks to say, because this is well designed in areas, but it's not well designed in every area. You know, the relic grind, for example, I just did the last stage of it. It took 4 days to do, because it's so long. But it's like 4 days of like nearly, I wouldn't say non-stop play, but playing enough. Also, this fate is really long. Another thing I fucking hate about this is the length. But I've got stuff to do. I've got to get my fucking, a colonoscopy prep in a sec. Oh, in an hour technically. But I'll do it like 50.50 there. Yeah, like, I've got to do the alliance raids here. For some reason. Be easy to do during the day for sure, but I want to wait till I get on the scooter. Then I'll do that. Then I've also got to do my hobbies and stuff, and that's just fucking annoying. I'm not even sure if I want to do them today. Skip artwork today, I don't know. Then again, I kind of want to just skip this now. I'm stressed out and then I've had things to do today. But this is the thing with a game this big, it's too grindy. And even though they acknowledge it, they haven't done anything about it. Which I think is pretty pathetic. I'm really, really critical on games. And when it pisses me off this much, it's something else. Again, that's not to say the other parts are bad, but there are certain limitations, I think. And also, like, forced sort of co-op sort of stuff is really bad design in general, because it turns out that, like the Fate here, it really does turn out that barely anyone will play it. Like, some players don't even know this exists. Some players don't even know alliance reads. They don't even know that there's more than one, because the game doesn't really explain it. So there's a huge accessibility issue on top of that. Again, lots of frustrations, and I could show the playtime, I think. 192 days in game, so technically not 5,000 hours, but close. But still, you encounter these issues, and then over time, it's just nonsense. You start to witness too much bullshit. It becomes almost unacceptable. But in a sense, I almost don't want to do the grey quest, because again, there's so many. I've got tons here as well. You know, I'm only going to do them like per section, I think, at this point. But how will I complete them with all the responsibilities I have? It just doesn't make sense to me. And they don't think that through, and that's very obvious. It's blatantly obvious. So, I don't know. And then after this, after I do Deep Rock Galactic, which has an update, I've got to somehow fit that into my schedule, even though I haven't got time. I've got something to do Friday, I've got possibly something to do Saturday, and I might take that day off anyway. Just catch up on things. Well, I haven't even got any medals. It's like, what is with this fucking game? Choose menu. Oh, but I have fucking farmed them, you idiots. So it says there, it's in peaks, so that's in step. I've just done it. I have it equipped. So I don't get it. There's so many stupid things here. It's like it's completely bogged out, it's like... Again, nothing is explained. I had the watch equipped for clouds, but apparently you need it equipped, but I don't know how you do that. Like, if you equip it, you lose fucking damage. It's baffling. Why is this just so dumb? It's a question I come back to a lot when I look at this game, and yeah, it sounds like I'm not enjoying it, but I do actually enjoy it. As I said, the questing is quite comforting. It's just something you can do. So obviously, you do a lot of reading and stuff, and I'm used to that. But the gameplay aspect can be fun too, if you're in the right duties and stuff. Shimmy Unreal definitely has moments in it for sure. It's very bizarre. You do see some shit every now and then, you can make your own stuff up too. And that's all the magic of this game. Also, that's a losing hand there. Yikes. No, I'm not getting that. I just need to do this. Yeah, it's just exhausting shit, really. I don't know exactly where I go from here. It's just, I need to figure things out, I reckon. Also get Maverick from this, nice. Yeah, anyway, I shall move on because I've got so much to do. I'll try to fit in artwork, but I'm not feeling it today. God. Well, maybe this will get me going. Oh, this is awkward. Basically, I've obviously started doing my colonoscopy prep. I've done the diet for 4 days now, and it's been okay. I've been getting a bit sick of it though, to be honest, and also weighing out the proportions of the pain. Because I'm so used to just cooking like noodles and stuff, which honestly I should have done, but they wouldn't arrive on time, because I ordered delivery for them. But it's like so fucking awkward. I don't really understand it. But yeah, it's been annoying to do, not for the cooking part. The cooking part actually turned out fine. I expected pasta to take a lot longer, but maybe it's a cooker thing. Because it's been a while since I've cooked pasta. And for the evening meals, I have like chips and tofu, and that was actually really nice. Chips and tofu is pretty damn good. Did like a smoky one first, and I did a hoisin sauce one on the third and fourth days. And the chips obviously are quite nice themselves, but it's hard to tell if they're like fibre ridden because these were McCain's straight cut chips, I think, or was it home chips? It's something like that. And they have like a batter on them, I believe, but I don't know if the batter is like high fibre or low fibre. And judging by the amount compared to other low fibre things, it doesn't seem like a ton. So it's hard to know. It's not easy to understand. So yeah, it's a bit awkward, as I said. Then I had a fucking call, I think it was yesterday. So like a pre-colonoscopy sort of thing, like making sure I'm aware of things, and also had one about something else, which I don't want to go into. But it seemed everything was going to plan. I had my laxative thing, which is fine. And yeah, and obviously now, so step 1 done, step 2, I was starving myself. It's 26 hours, I'm guessing, because that's going to be how long it's going to be before I get some food. Which is probably the longest I've ever gone hungry. Fun fact. Or maybe not so fun fact. Yeah, I've always been pretty good with feeding myself, and even then the one before that would be probably 8 or 9 hours, perhaps 10 actually, a stretch. Because of me just forgetting to make lunch one day. All this lunch talk is making me hungry. I'm not actually that bad actually. I was surprised. It's worse when I obviously started it, when I had my last lunch and essentially had to have something smaller. It was worse then than it is now, but it might be because of my laxative doing something and the amount of water I have. So I feel a bit better than I did before, which is a good sign, I think. However, after starving and stuff, I am now on the laxative, and the laxative actually was surprising. It didn't taste horrible this time. Last time it was absolutely unbearable. Itself, the taste and the feel made me feel sick. And the worst part is it required you to sip it. Sip it in like portions. So you go there, you'd use it, make it, use it and sip it every like interval of like 30 seconds or something. Or 2 minutes, I forgot what it was set to actually, it's probably 2 minutes or something. But man, it was a fucking pain to do that. It was a slog to go through. Hated it, and then eventually I vomited. Yeah, not fun. And that's not what laxative is supposed to do. And it was 2 in one evening as well. That was also the terrible part. That made it even more horrible than it already was. But it's like 2 different flavours and 2 different types, I believe. But man, what a fucking pain. I just detested that. It was genuinely awful. Yeah, I think it's not going too well now though, but I had, this tasted like orange for some reason. It actually tasted fine. I was very surprised. Texture, taste, fine. I did feel a bit queasy afterwards for some reason. But I guess I got used to it. So, yeah, it just settled down and I drank the water. It said 750 milliliters or so. Even though it said 250 milliliters, but it said to, what was it? Like do 3 lots of 250 milliliters, but I don't know how to do that. We ain't got any bloody cups here for some reason. even then, I don't know about measuring it and stuff, and I've just used my 1.5 litre bottle and it's just gone by visuals, and yeah, I would say I've done about 700 millilitres at most. But here I am 2 hours later, and still not feeling sick, and I had a false alarm. I had stomach aches, and I was starting to think, oh, maybe this is my chance to go, assuming that's what it's doing. But it may just be working in my colon at the moment. So I was thinking, I was starting to feel like something's happening down there, and I went, and nothing came out, absolutely nothing, just gas. So I don't know if I've made it wrong or something. I did as it said on the instructions, and it's not doing anything. And I'm sort of worried that I'll just have an explosive shit right now. But yeah, I went, nothing happened. And now it's 20 minutes over that time, and still nothing. Also, a weird thing with that drink actually was that it's warm, and it did say to leave it to cool down, but it wasn't cooling down because it's a fucking heat wave. What do you want me to do? How am I supposed to address that in a heat wave? It's so dumb. I did do it with cold water, I made sure. But yet it didn't fucking cool down, so I don't know if I've done it wrong then. But this is only the first dose, so things could change. But at the moment, as it currently stands, like nothing is happening. I don't feel anything happening. The stomach aches have stopped. I don't feel queasy or anything yet. Having said that, starting to feel something. But no, not feeling anything like going even to the toilet, which is what the intention is. So, even though I've got this like seemingly weaker kit, it does feel like something's wrong here. Like, almost my bowels are sort of closed up, and yes, I have suffered with constipation in the last few days actually. And I'm not sure if that's because of whatever it is, like stress. It's hard to know because it seems to onset only like a week or two later. Which is extremely fucking annoying. I just want it to just go away. But yeah, that's getting in the way. So ironically, the thing that I'm getting checked out is causing problems to start with. And if I can't get anything out by tomorrow, then what then? I just don't understand what to do or where to go from it. It's not like I could call them up either and say, oh, nothing's come out. The problem is, how do I even get it out? That's the complicated part. Because if I'm constipated, and it's so constipated that I can't actually get my bowels to move, what am I supposed to do? Ideally I should be having liquid shits right now, as I'm speaking. And nothing. It's just confusing. So I'm not having things. It's just so ridiculous. I don't know what's going on. And it feels so disappointing that this is the result of that, having changed the type of prep that I have. Also doing it properly this time, because last time I remember I didn't know I had to follow a diet beforehand, and even then I only said to do it for some reason the day before for one meal, which is okay, even though it turned out okay for me in the end. Either way, I'm playing it safe now because I really want to get this solved. I just want to spend less time on the toilet now. That's really the point of this, why I'm going here anyway, to get this done. And I'm just fed up of like constant visits. I'm just wanting to get some more time to do things myself. Yeah, this is just an update. Step 1, 2, and I guess 3 are done. 4 is like the final step, I'll call it. I don't know the order, obviously, it's just like I made up. Obviously step 1, the diet, to reiterate. Step 2, starving after the last lunch, and then step 3, first laxative, step 4, second, and then obviously step 5 will just be getting the colonoscopy done if it's possible. But this is another thing. I'm not sure if I've discussed this before, but they really need to find a different way to do it. Because I find the laxative situation a bit weird. It's not comfortable for everyone, and it's certainly, in my case now, it's not reliable. Hopefully I'm wrong, but this is what it's looking like. I'm looking like I'm absolutely screwed. It's like disappointing. Of what the fuck is going on? But yeah, it's just so strange. I don't know what's happening here, to be honest. I've not really experienced anything like this in a while, I don't think. But the constipation I haven't actually experienced in a while either. It's since I've started this low fibre diet. And weirdly enough, the fibre was helping. Even though I was sort of semi-constipated during that and just passing gas a lot, it was still far better for me. So it shows that it was actually working. I was trying to get one bit of fibre and multiple in breakfast, obviously. Multiple fibre each day. So it's fruits and veg as much as I can and can tolerate. Because, to be honest, toleration is like the biggest obstacle more than anything else. Yeah, getting that done. I don't know what the fuck's going on with Windows Explorer. Bug it here. Yeah, I need to figure these things out. As ASAP, obviously. Yeah, I'm really hoping this works out. I genuinely don't know what can happen, what's the worst thing that can happen with this, and also whether I am actually shitting anything. I sort of wonder if maybe the low fibre diet is intended to basically not have anything, as in it's like, how do I explain it? I maybe could be misunderstanding fibre, it's like, because I haven't obviously looked into it properly. But if I had to guess, maybe what's going on is I've misunderstood fibre, and the thing that's happening right now is only the fibre gets out, the fibre content. And that means whatever I've eaten, and it should be the rice at some point that I had today, and the cornflakes I probably had through the morning, which came out, and that should be it. But that should be the fibre, and only the fibre content, meaning the rest of it is dissolved into my system. It's dissolved into my bowels. And so, it's like, that's the situation, I think. But very interesting. So why are we stuck in brachiosaurs? Interesting. Sure. Yeah, scary situation. And I'm also playing it safe with like games here. I've done all my sort of high focus tasks already. I'm doing some that I can technically AFK on, which is fine. But yeah, I think I shall need to move on in a second. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can actually say. I think I'll make changes to the meal plan next time. I think you can get like peeled carrots and stuff, which would be great. Also, I do take my vitamins. I'm not going to take it tomorrow, obviously, for obvious reasons. I do take them still with this, and it seems to have caused no problem. Because there's not really fibre or anything, it's just powder. Powder and oil. Yeah. I don't know. Again, I'm sort of at the crossroads here. I really have no idea. God, what's going on here? Yeah, fucked everything up. Oh, this rank is dying quick. Jesus. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. just feels good to be out of the rain, I think. It's hard to know actually at the moment, because weirdly enough I'm still constipated. But I've sort of succeeded. After waiting for 5 fucking hours, I managed to take a dump. Well, rain. Or is it 5 hours? Hang on. Took it at 6, so 1800. Yeah, 5 hours. So, I don't know what it was. I looked it up because I was in a panic. Didn't know what the hell was going on, because I had no clue what this could be, what it could mean. And it turns out you just need to drink more water. Even though I was drinking the right amount, it apparently wasn't enough. So, yeah, you just drink more. It kind of makes sense. And then, roughly an hour and a half after that, I had a sudden urge to just rush to the toilet. Thankfully you can hold it in, but not for long, I don't think. Didn't want to test that really. I just picked up my headphones and phone and ran in there, light on, put my phone up to watch it. I was watching Pokemon at the moment. And sat down and yeah, just let it out. And essentially it was a brown rain, for lack of a better term. Which is a relief, but also I felt really solid lumps. I don't know what the fuck that was. I've never had that before. At least with the laxative I had before. I don't know if it's maybe different. This one, obviously the laxative is a bit different, I think. It's not made me feel sick, although I did feel a bit queasy after having that shit. But it's so weird. Like, I literally felt these lumps going through. Couldn't see what it was. But whatever these lumps were, they were causing an obstruction, I think. A serious obstruction. It's so bizarre. I don't know what that was. But it absolutely covered, like, the water aspect absolutely covered my toilet bowl. That was nuts. And the clean-up luckily was pretty good. I was surprised how easy it was to clean up myself. I was expecting a lot more hassle and getting things all over my arm and shit. No. Not really anything. It took about a few folded rolls, about 6, 8 maybe. And I did a wet wipe at the end for extra precaution. But right when I got to the end of the watery stall, I did start to feel that constipation feel again, which is why I bring this up. I don't know if that means I am actually properly constipated, or maybe ulcerative colitis is just doing that. It's hard to know. Bit concerning either way. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I think at least this means I'm mostly clean at this point of bouts. I've also got the one to do tomorrow, but I worry about it because I need the time to fucking do that and go. I might do it a bit earlier. I'll think about it. It's risky, but I'm gonna have to, because that's a real danger. Going to the appointment needing the fucking toilet right away is just, yeah. You know, I could try and drink a ton of water, but I don't know. I really don't know what to do there. I'm assuming I'm already clean at this point, but who knows? The lumps could be the fibre, so probably like cornflakes and the rice. That could be it actually, like the cornflakes aren't usually that dense anyway, and the rice, well, I don't know about rice actually. Probably can be really condensed. So I have no idea. Yeah, interesting times, so yeah, let's move on. Also, was Final Fantasy 14 not watching. Yeah, so update on the Bowel breakfast, I guess. Just taken the fourth and had 750 milliliters. I don't have it in one go, just to be clear. did sort of spread it out evenly between like 30 minutes and stuff. But yeah, honestly, I'm struggling a bit. I haven't vomited yet, but I have felt very nauseous. I felt very close to. Which is strange, because I don't know if that's normal. But yeah, like, I get some feels of discomfort when I'm in this state at the moment. Where do I start? I guess I started last night. I managed to get some sleep, but I didn't get enough. I seemingly struggled to get to sleep after I just finished watching Pokemon. For some reason they stream extremely late. I don't know why. It's like afternoon times when I believe that. Hang on, what is it? It's usually like -8 hours from US, or -7 hours. And it's like 10, so yeah, it's around the times that school sort of stops. I don't know. But very interesting anyway. I watched that just for entertainment. But yeah, I had a terrible sleep. Woke up at 4 in the morning after getting to sleep at 1. And I had the shits, the bowel problem, bowel stuff, rather. So the laxative was working properly then, even more so than before. This. Yeah, it's just awkward. So I woke up to that and obviously went and stuff, and it wasn't as severe as the first shitstorm happened. But it was still meh. I don't like it. It's not comfortable. And that's one thing I forgot to mention. It feels like there's a volcano coming out my arse. I don't know if it's like the laxative or what I've eaten. I don't think it would be something I've eaten. So yeah, it has to be the laxative. It's like a very burny sort of feeling. Oh, it feels horrible. I think that's almost as bad as the nausea. But even then, nausea's not comfortable either. But yeah, I went twice in the night and then been 3 times in the morning so far. So a total of 7 times. Which I don't know if that's good or bad. It's hard to say, because if I'm going in the middle of the night, like literally, how many hours is that? 10 hours after I've taken it, then my odds are not looking good for the colonoscopy. I'll still go, but I am a bit worried by that. Because it's kind of like, what if there's still stuff in there? I don't even know 100% if it's all out. And again, with the constipation that I no doubt have, it just is a clusterfuck. So I don't really know what else is going on there. And obviously I had the second lot, obviously part 4 of this. I felt a bit nauseous again taking it, and also having water for some reason makes me nauseous. I don't know why. It's just a sick thing. Also, that's the other thing. I was laying in bed and I just got these occasional horrific stomach pains. It's really uncomfortable. I'm not sure if it feels like cramps or what, but it just felt bad. I'm a bit worried that might indicate something is wrong with my colon, obviously. Just seems very uncomfortable. So I don't know why they don't call it colon pain. And this is just stomach is like the umbrella term or something. I don't know. Yeah, in terms of discomfort so far. So have I got a cold? I don't think so. I think it's just a blocked nose. Doesn't necessarily mean a cold. Hopefully not. So that'd be awkward. The appointment. Yeah. But in terms of discomfort index, I don't know, it's hard to say which one is more uncomfortable, because at the moment it's all quite neutral. It's not horrible, but it's not good. But everything so far has been okay. I'm quite surprised. I think it's something I could possibly do again in an emergency Except for the low fibre diet, I think that's a bit excessive, to be honest. Yeah, it's an absurd amount, and the hunger as well, that's one part that's really uncomfortable. It's not really affecting me that much now. It does affect my libido, as it turns out, I think. It's a very niche thing. Pretty sure it affects it anyway. So I just spent so long fucking trying. End up wasting a lot of calories, obviously. There's ain't much I could do about that. So that's obviously really annoying. What else? I don't really know. I was just so tired. I think that's like the main problem at the moment, and that's not really related to the prep or anything. I just think that's something to do with me psychologically. Maybe there is like a lot of stress that's like catching up on me. I guess a settling in period or something. But yeah, honestly, it's not great. Just trying to think. What else could there be? Also, I missed E-train. No, I didn't actually. Trying to keep busy too. Yeah, I think the main thing is that having all these distractions to help me get through it is just important. I find that helps me a bit here. Obviously, I will be struggling at the moment, but also the hunger I don't really notice. You get like this, you get that hunger feeling, but you're not getting gargling, which is where it's really uncomfortable. The gargling is like the worst part of hunger. But I don't have any of that, which is good. I'm not sure if that's a good sign though, it's just that. I'm not sure. Is there anything else? I think the next time I'll see speak is if something goes wrong. Although to be fair, that's another thing I forgot to mention. The amount of liquid store coming out is pretty much minimal now. It used to be just shit tons coming out at a time. You know, first 2 visits they were pretty big. Quite a lot coming out rather. And then next 2 after that weren't as big, weren't as long, obviously. Then after these last 3, I've been getting gradually smaller, which is a good sign, I think. So I think that does mean that my colon is sort of clearing a bit. Yeah, a lot of the worries sort of put to rest, and it's not too difficult to do either, I don't think. I don't think a lot of the doubts for this come with all these stupid side effects and stuff, but I haven't really had any side effects, which is honestly a big change. Yeah, I don't know what else to add. So yeah, let's move on. That was another thing that annoyed me about this prep, because the instructions are just confusing and contradictory. It says one thing on another leaflet and then another thing on the other. And then it just contradicts each other. So on my laxative, it said that I don't need to drink only clear water. You know, just drinking water. And, you know, that makes sense, like, sure. It's nice to have the option, although I wouldn't risk it myself personally. But then I noticed, and I didn't notice this last night, at the end of the suggested dose for adults, it said, do not drink only water. What? And the weirdest thing is it doesn't even suggest anything on there. I got suggestions on the other leaflet, but I don't have any of those things other than tea. But I don't like plain tea. It's horrible. So yeah, that goes right out the window, and I guess I'm just gonna have to have water, aren't I? It fucking sucks. But I don't understand why there's so much contradictory advice. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know why there's so much of this as well. it's like they don't have a communication between each other for that sort of shit. When ideally they should. There really should be something to do with that. But what a clusterfuck. Like, why the hell is this such a big problem? And also, what's wrong with drinking just water? Isn't all of it just water at the end of the day? It just doesn't add up to me. So I have no idea what the deal is with that. I genuinely do not understand it. Like, what the fuck is this? Just doesn't make any sense. Seriously, why? Just, I don't understand. A lot of it just doesn't make any sense when I really look at it. Yeah, I don't really know what else to add, to be honest. I just think the entire thing is just a clusterfuck and an embarrassment. Just doesn't make any sense, and I can only hope that they change it to make it different, or at least be more on the mark. Just, it is an absolute mess, and yeah, I really think there are things that could be done better. It's just tiring. Trying to understand anything the NHS does is tiring. It's sort of exactly what I've said about the difference between a GP and a doctor, because I think they are two completely different things. A GP doesn't have to be trained with a doctor or anything, but a doctor has to. And when there is a situation where a GP cannot diagnose something, you should then naturally be referred to a doctor. That's how it should go. It reminds me of when I had these breathing issues, which turns out as a part of my medication, I think, somehow, even though, technically speaking, it even happened before the medication, so I'm not even sure what it could be. But again, it's so messy, and I didn't end up not getting any sort of diagnosis. I got a referral to get an x-ray, but I decided not to because it's too far fucking away. Why didn't they put it closer? Why is this x-ray so far away? For something like my lungs, which yes, are important, I don't think it's that important. I'm not gonna fucking go to, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a country of good healthcare. I don't even know actually. Like probably Finland. I think I've heard good things about Finland. You know, if I have to go there for an X-ray, it's not even worth it even then. No fucking point. Because it's too far away. It feels like it'll lead to nothing as well, so there's also a risk involved. Just no point. Doesn't make sense. So yeah, don't know what else to add. I'm really tired. Let's move on. Jeebus H something. I've done the procedure, colonoscopy. It was interesting. Things I had not experienced before. First thing I want to say is that I did something there that was for people like myself, and it was a thing I can opt in or out of. Decided to opt in because I do care about this. It's very much in line with what I want to change about this fucking horrible disease. And it is ulcerative colitis, just to be clear, because I keep getting mixed up with that. But it is like a real issue, and it's horrific, to be honest. I genuinely hate this disease because it feels so... It just like fucks me over. It does so many things to my body that I don't like, and I just don't enjoy it. So I'm surprised I'm not dirty my glasses for. Interesting. Anyway, I just find it's very weird to just well, I don't know how to explain it exactly. You know, it's a no-brainer to actually volunteer, because at first I was like, okay, they sent me this letter, they said a bunch of things, and I wasn't sure what this meant, and then they just explained it to me in simpler terms, and it's like, oh, okay, I can do that. Sure. And I'd be interested to know the results. So it's very interesting. But after that, I waited in the waiting room. Luckily, I managed to secure transport because I was worried about that going into this. Because it did seem like a big issue to begin with, because this place is not well run. I could tell you that much. But I managed to get there anyway in the end, finally. Got this shit under wraps, which is great. And yeah, waited there for 40 minutes in the actual waiting room. And then an additional 20 minutes waiting for the procedure to be called in. And it's just like, what the fuck? And then it took about 5 or 10 minutes to prepare for some reason, and it was admittedly because I was sleep deprived. I'm sleep deprived, I can't do anything about that, because you need to explain to me why I wake up at 5 in the morning and can't get back to sleep, not feeling tired, when I've had 4 hours sleep. It's really dumb, but I don't exactly understand it. Anyway, that didn't help, and they're giving me instructions. I couldn't comprehend it because, well, it wasn't really the accent that really got me. I actually understood their accents this time, because usually at doctors I can struggle with that at times. I hate to say it, but I do sometimes struggle. Obviously I understood it this time, which is good. Definite exchange. And yeah, like, even then, getting prepared stuff was fine. Just getting into the procedure and laying down was a problem. I couldn't figure out how to do it without, like, knackering my bollocks. The most British thing I could probably ever say. So I tried not to knacker my bollocks as best as I could, and they didn't listen. I was like, okay, that's weird. And I thought, for some reason, I keep feeling this pin in my sort of left arm, and obviously that's where the needle is for, I think, the pain relief. Was it even working? I shouldn't have been feeling pain there, but I was. And to be honest, I still feel a bit of something there, but not a ton. I did just have a bath, and I'm not sure if that's related to it. So that's weird. Also, before I went, I forgot to say, I had my last sort of bowel pulsing, and I was exactly right about that. I didn't take it at 6, like I said, because I thought, well, you know, if they say these numbers, then they say it for a reason, don't they? So they'll have to pick up the pieces if obviously it's wrong. Unfortunately, they're right. So, yeah. I guess that's props to them, I suppose. So yeah, that turned out fine. But yeah, it's a bit annoying though. It's still burnt on the last one, even though it's just clear liquid. And after that, I do it in the procedure and getting through it. Almost right away, I started experiencing pain. The moment the camera went in my arse, agonising pain. And it wasn't like a pain like I had before, like with the butt plug, for example, which is obviously a different thing, but it still had pain with it. Not sure where it comes from, what it is. We find out what that is at the end, kind of. I didn't bring it up exactly, but I know I found it. It's kind of surprising. And then what else? I'm trying to think. The other thing is, yeah, also go for it. They gave me gas in it, that's it, because I opted for no sedation this time. I decided against it because I knew that if I took sedation, they'd try and keep me there for like 24 hours, or at least with someone. Even though the sedation doesn't work on me, I didn't want to risk it. Because I just wanted to get back home and do my work now. And did my music this morning. Managed to violin somehow. Just bizarre. And I was just worried about that. And so I didn't risk it, and I sort of wish I did in the end, because that procedure was fucking painful. Not all of it, but parts of it definitely were. I'm not sure how they, or if they can detect pain, but they probably did at some point, because they had like a blood pressure thing on me. And yeah, they also gave me the gas and air. I don't know what that does exactly. I need to look that up. Like, what is it? Because it can't be like a sedative. What is gas and air for medical procedures? Entonox. Is that what it is? It's NHS. Also, my eyes are fucked, I think. I don't know what's going on. Like, something in that procedure actually did something to me. I could suddenly smell things a lot better. I could suddenly see a lot better. I could suddenly hear a lot better. It's so weird. I don't know what the hell went on there. Whatever this did to me, it changed. Who can use it? No. How to use that? Side effects? No. What? It doesn't even say what it is. Overview. Entonox is a mixture of gas called nitrous oxide and oxygen. It's also called gas and air. You can breathe in Entonox to control pain and anxiety during some medical tests and procedures. This is a simple way to help with pain and anxiety. It's a quick work and the effect wears off in minutes. You do not lose consciousness. You breathe in the gas mixture and mouth PCR that how much pain and can control how much pain relief you have. Oh, okay. Entonox is often used to treat pain during childbirth. Jesus. Ambulance service and hospitals use it for different procedures and conditions. In the endoscopy unit, we might offer you Entonox to help with pain during some bowel tests. Okay, so it did kind of work then, I guess. Not perfectly. Also, why is it promoting a VPN? That's weird. Yeah, so I took that and it sort of worked, sort of didn't. Because I actually felt like I was going to pass out at one point. And I've never had that feeling in my life. I've never had such a fucking feeling ever. And I know what a fucking pain that feels like now. Like, what the hell? That is just so unusual. That was legitimately scary. I thought I was literally going to pass out. I was like, what the hell's going to happen to me then? I would have been glad in the end, but it still scared the fuck out of me, and that raised my heart rate too. I've literally never passed out in my life. It's so weird that I've gone this long about it. Somehow I think it should have happened anyway. But anyway, the gas and air worked. And yeah, they're going in and stuff. The camera was really weird. They had this 3D model thing, I think, to show the outline of the colon, and it glitched out so many times. I don't know who designed that, but it's obviously not very effective. And then they asked me to roll onto my stomach, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how much movement do I need to do? First they asked me to move up on the thing, which fair enough. I wish I could have understood that, because I just couldn't in my sleep-deprived state. Then this, also like legs go up and stuff, and knowing the crotch pain I would obviously have if I had it a certain way. I do sleep on my left side, but I don't sleep like that. What's the fucking argument? Someone's shouting outside. Yeah, it's very weird, but there's some good communication at least after. It's just like trying to provide comfort, it seems, and for some reason talked about whether I'm going to treat myself after, and I was like, I don't know. I bought some flapjacks, and I did. I bought like 4 of them. So I knew I'd be hungry, and I bought a packet of crisps, and then he said, well, you should probably treat yourself. I was like, okay. And so I went to McDonald's in the end. I didn't want to be honest, but at the end of the day, it's like the first time I've been in over a year and a half, almost 2 years at this point. So it's more of a treat sort of thing. I don't like the idea of supporting McDonald's, but it's a decent meal. Ate it on the way home. That was nice. Yeah. Wait, that's all I had, isn't it? Oh, okay. I guess I got room for dinner though. Just fine. Not much of an issue, to be honest. The only annoying thing with the McPlant, I don't know if any other places have this, any other McDonald's. The fucking lettuce falls out every time. With the sauce, it just gets so messy. Like, you need to fix that shit. You need to stop shredding your lettuce and start making it into pieces. Because that's why it falls out. Also, what is up with my fucking eyes today? I haven't been staring at much, and I guess because of the darkness and the contrast, I might turn my artwork thing down here a bit. What do I go on red? Maybe it's the red that does it. Oh yeah, that's a bit gentler, but still looks a bit weird looking at natural light. Maybe I go orange. Orange sort of works. Yeah, what extra in there? Yeah, they took the samples, and again, the thing that was very much in line with my beliefs, and did that, which is great. I was happy to do that. Again, if it helps people, then I'm fine with that. It's definitely worth the pain in that case. What else? Yeah, they took the most samples for that for some reason. Because that's very strange, because before they only took like a few for obviously the way they diagnosed me and stuff, like samples. They took a lot more for this other thing. And again, I'm not sure how much I could go into. And I forgot I have the papers here. I think it's like a research thing. So yeah, that happened. Just very interesting. It's nice to do with Oxford. I think I can say that. I thought that's also very interesting. It's like, great. Happy to help. But it's weird that they didn't ask me much else about that. I sort of wondered if they would ask about diet and sort of lifestyle, maybe. But no, they didn't, as far as I'm aware. I can't remember. Yeah, anyway, the procedure. When it got to the end, it was like, okay, that's a relief, and I saw the camera moving out. I was like, great, thank fuck. And then they stopped at a part that was really painful. Thanks for that. And they took my gas away for some reason. I don't know what happened there. It's obviously they just took my gas away for some reason. I don't know why. It's like, I'll be taking that. I wasn't even using much of it. It's so weird. I don't know, maybe if it has like a long-lasting effect or something. Perhaps that might be what it is. It's all just such a bizarre experience. Never experienced anything like it. It's more like the first time for most things here. Yeah, gas and air kind of works. Just get it right before you do the procedure, because we'll see, if you're not having sedation and you don't want to risk it, you might as well get that, because it will probably help. But I don't know what happened with the pain relief, because they tried to sign into my arm. I don't know what apples was. They didn't help. But anyway, they took samples in the end of different areas, I think, and going to send them off, obviously, and get them tested. But then, right near the end, remember the pain I mentioned? They found a fucking polyp. I didn't have one of these before, I'm pretty sure. And it's scary to know that I have one of them now, because I don't know what it could mean. And I think it's a rectal polyp. Bowel polyps, colon polyps. It goes near the rectum though. So bowel polyps. So might not be anything to be concerned about. No, nothing there. Usually harmless and do not become cancerous, but in small cases of colic can become cancerous over many years. Colonoscapy. Treatment for polyps. That's a weird thing. They didn't really do anything to it. They just took a bit off and that was it. I don't understand exactly what they did there. Because I remember looking at the procedure years ago and seeing that they sort of put a noose around it or something and cut it off. I'm not sure if that's like the same thing or if they can do that in this one. But it's very weird. Yeah, very weird that I had that, especially near my rectum of all places. And the other things they said or discovered rather, that it's I get the most sort of inflammation in my left colon. I don't exactly know what they mean by that. Is it bad? Is it good? Or what? So none would be good, but I mean, in the context of things, like where should I be getting the pain? Because I don't know. paper here. What does this look like? That my handwriting. Interesting. I had a job doing my name. That was weird. I couldn't get my name right for some reason. It's very strange. I've never experienced that. Like 2 out of 3 times they got it right, but this one time, just for some reason, they crossed out the procedure thing, saying if you've had the procedure for 24 hours, don't do these things. Let's read them anyway. Drive a car, motorbike, or ride a motorcycle. Sign any legal documents. Operate domestic appliance machinery. Oh, it's for the sedation. Yeah, that makes sense. I was about to say. What do you mean, sign legal documents? How do I feel after the procedure? For polyp, mistake of a small mouth. I'll be present. If bowels opens, normal. May feel a little bloated. Yep. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Help relieve this feeling. Walking around and taking warm drinks and peppermints. Okay. Yeah, there's some information here. Something like that. They have the pictures. If you have any of these following problems, call 999. Passing a lot of blood, vomiting, severe abdominal pain, fever, severe bloating. Yeah, let's see much else on there, but they've got the sort of pictures here. Patient's copy. And what's this? Findings and procedures. Took some polyps, and that's it. Okay, that's very interesting. Crohn's colitis. Type. What's that? Hang on. Crohn's colitis. Yes. What's that mean? Never heard that word, quiescent. I'm paying quiescent. This study, it's not what I wanted. What does quiescent mean? Sorry, I'm slow, it's received activation. Can't do anything about that. Fucking annoying. If only the doctor would have fucking given me better options. Quiescent meaning it's marked by inactivity or repose. Tranquilly at rest. What? How? A state or period of inactivity or dormancy. Huh? Doesn't sound right. Maybe it's the low fibre diet, but how the fuck is it even quiescent? That's come as a bit of a shock. Because I definitely have this, and I had it 6 days ago. Fucking, what was it? Constipation. Just I think I had it anyway, it felt like it. The procedure comments, colitis, inflammatory polyps in the anal, canal, lower rectum. Second, management and follow-up. Going consultant. Yeah, okay, makes sense. So they've got some pictures here, very nice. For some reason they took 4. So let's I think they found some things there, I was like. Like different sites for the polyps, I think. Yeah, that was a referred to. Where are they? So, yep, that's where I try to anally pleasure myself. That's not the same ones. Just 8. No, 8. That's where that is. Okay, it's really close to the rectum. There's another shot. If some reason it's all on that, so It's only one polyp, I guess. It's actually a second, but I don't know. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I'm not gonna lie. But also it's disaster. Again, the pain was like the worst part, and then I haven't even finished because there's more. So yeah, luckily they asked me to get some other stuff off when I got in there, because I was only asked to take off obviously my pants and stuff, underpants, and get into the gown and the weird shorts that they have. So anyone's familiar with that. And they didn't ask me to take off anything else. I was like, oh, okay, that's handy. Got in there for the procedure, and they're like, can you take these off? But okay, why not? I don't understand. It felt very silly. I don't know why they do that. Maybe it's like a per hospital thing, but it felt very weird to me. Just why they didn't ask these things. I didn't have a problem with my watch for some reason, just the glasses. Although I do fine with the glasses, to be fair. I think it might just be to do with adjusting. If I ever do that, I might interrupt something. That was the other thing with the procedure. It felt very uncomfortable. Last time I could barely feel a thing, other than the pulse, and the pulse didn't even help. It didn't even hurt, and they didn't hurt this time. But the movement didn't hurt last time. This time they did. The movement hurt. And it just felt extremely uncomfortable. I felt like I was literally shitting myself all the time. So they didn't even do the basic of like numbing. I don't know if sleep deprivation has something to do with that, nullifying the effects. But the numbing or whatever they used didn't help, didn't bloody work. So I had no idea. That just threw me in a loop, I think, because I had no idea what to do there. Then what else happened? I swear there was another thing. I was like feeling like I was shitting. I did see how my breathing affected the intestine, or colon. I don't know if it was that exactly, but it's quite obvious from how they were doing it. My breathing affected the position of things. I was seeing it on the camera moving. Obviously I did have a camera there, I forgot to say. I did see the screen, which is it's often very interesting. I do like watching that as it goes. It doesn't freak me out like it does other people, I think. Yeah, I know if something's inside me, what then? Who cares? We've got lots of things inside us that would freak you out if you knew how they worked. But yeah. But also these people know what they're doing, so I don't need to worry about that. There was a moment of a bit of that, maybe, to sort of onset with the pain and stuff. And I think that was it, and then I got wheeled out into the waiting room area that they have for that. Literally 3 fucking old guys in there. Why? And they were also some of the strangest old guys I've probably ever seen. Like, one of them was just completely silent, which was great. 2 of them were quite chatty in areas, and also weird towards the nurses. Not sure if it's a sedation, could be, but yeah, I did feel a bit uncomfortable there. Felt very out of my league, given these people are in their 60s, and they're born in the 60s, ironically. So yeah, I overheard them saying the date of birth. I did get offered water and I didn't take it because I was a bit worried I'd shit myself, so I drank in the car instead. Shit myself in there, that'd be better. Not really. But no, it's fine. I waited there for a few minutes. It was a lot quicker than everyone else because I think they had sedation, those old guys. Yeah, don't really know what else I noticed, if anything. Also, they carry like my belongings through and stuff. I have my phone in there. Trying to think what else. I got stuck on a level on Aurus. I'm still playing that. Maybe I just talked about it a while ago. I definitely downloaded it and bought it, and I tried it, and it's actually good. I'll need to obviously review that when I'm done with it. But it's actually getting really complicated now. Let's use the hints for the first time. I'm on, I think, zone 3 or 4. One of them. But it's definitely getting harder. Yeah, what else? Yeah, after that it's just like a small meeting saying, yeah, you have this, you have that. Yep, nothing new. Luckily, I'd say, but except for the polyp. Still does sort of scare me a bit. I don't know what the fuck that means exactly. I seem, for the most part, good. I didn't flag anything from what I could tell. Which again is a kind of relief. Because I think there could have been a lot worse things to have happened in that procedure and in my bowels in general. Especially since taking the medication. Because this is the thing. I started taking a medication for it to sort of help it get under control. And I feel like it's not been helping. But they seem to think it has, and they've proved it with like stool samples and blood tests. And on top of that, they also discovered it here, so I'm wondering what the fuck is going on. Why am I experiencing pain? So that's the thing to figure out next, I think. To get to the bottom of, so it stops bothering me. Well, not necessarily the pain, actually, what am I saying? It's less the pain and more the bowel habits. Again, I'm going multiple times a day, and it takes time out of my day. Like, it's easily the worst part. I can take the minimal pain when I need to go. It's actually handy. But I can't take the fucking constant going. I'm tired of it. I just want to be getting on with my day. Doing things I want to do. Not this. Anyway, out of the waiting room, out of the meeting room, and back home. Yeah. So it's simply fun. It's good to have it done. That's the only thing I can say. I don't feel satisfied, to be honest. It felt horrible. But it was good to get it done. Yeah. It was a thing. I sort of wish there was a way that they could stop the pain or just numb my system entirely. It would be so handy to have that, and the castanet barely did anything. They did tell me to like breathe in really hard, and I did, and it didn't do much, I don't think. It helped a little, but it didn't do tons, and I think that's why you need like a pre-breathing of that. What else? Yeah, just got in the car, went home, and had a bath, and was there on my plant on the way home. Yeah, but I just don't feel anything at the moment that's too concerning. I did feel wet at the back when I was going home, sorry for the detail. I think they forgot to wipe off the cream and stuff, or whatever they put in their gel. It's gel, not cream. I see a big gel. Yeah, there's some reason they left that there. So I had to walk with that into McDonald's. I don't think it went through my shorts, which is good. Although I haven't said that, I was in my boxers. Ew. But I gotta sanitise them. Perhaps burn them. Trying to think what else. There wasn't really anything else that happened today. I've told the relevant people also like how it went and stuff, because I am asked about it here and there. And it is sort of a big sort of procedure to have done, sort of, even though it's something that everyone does at some point. But for someone my age, it's very unusual. I know that late 20s and ulcerative colitis. It seems mild now. That's the other thing, how clean my colon was, because I was very curious to see what this was like, given the effectiveness and ineffectiveness of the bowel prep. It was cleanish. Put it this way, it didn't look like what it did on the nightmare images they provided on the leaflet. But there were areas where it's like, oh, there's some stuff here, there's some stuff there. Like, oh, it looked awful at times. Sadly, this time I didn't see a cucumber, because last time I went for this, I saw a cucumber in my colon. Thought, okay, that's interesting. I remember having that cucumber. It was a great fucking cucumber. It's just like a slice. It's like a quarter slice, I think. Actually, I think it's a half slice. Some reason I used to cut them really thin. I don't know why. Even though I don't mind them the way they are. Yeah, very strange. But cleanest colon I've had. That has to go without saying. So definitely pick up a milder laxative. I think that's the way to go. Definitely do that next time. What else? I don't think there is anything else, to be honest. I think I've said everything I can. Just it's a shocking experience, but also quite enlightening. Again, I'm not sure what this could all imply, what the polyp implies, and what the results will be in a few months' time. I've got some things to do still. Annoyingly, I've got fucking distracted again. Opticians, COVID vaccination. I don't know if I could still do that. Yeah, because I didn't do it in the winter because I was just not feeling right. Dentist, yep, and things. Yeah. So really getting down the list, which is good. Again, it's quite a relief. But at the same time, I just feel exhausted. Again, I didn't get much sleep. And I'm not sure what the future holds with this sort of stuff. And if, because I have a team I work with, to be fair, I don't think I could be, silent on that. They sort of helped me through ulcerative colitis, and it definitely does sort of provide some help in ways, but not in others, which is annoying. So I sort of hope there'd be more, they say there's incontinence pants, but there isn't any. They don't exist. They're not reusable. And the ones that you can dispose of don't fit. They don't do my size. So it's just a waste of fucking time. Great. Thanks. I guess I'm not going to wear any. I'll shit myself. Sure. Guess that works. Nurse at February also. What am I doing in A-Train? Father's vertical saucer. Yep, so that's about it. That's the entire colonoscopy procedure. Done. Just hope I can get a good night's sleep tonight. I kinda fucking need that. I need the recovery too. They didn't mention anything about food. That's what I thought was interesting, because they obviously had that conversation with me about treating myself, and I thought, you're sort of implying that I can just have an Indian takeaway right away, even though I could probably possibly get food poisoning, even though it's vegetable. So you could probably still get salmonella, or something related to vegetables anyway. Salmonella. God, that'd be a funny name for a band. Yeah, but I don't know. Anyway, that's about it, so let's move on. So, that was an interesting thing that happened earlier, whilst I was in the waiting room for the colonoscopy. I overheard on the radio a discussion about, for some reason, autism definitions. I can't exactly quote what it was because I can't remember. I'm too fucking tired for this, man. That's all it is. But I think it's kind of concerning. I'll try to look at it again. Statistic definition discussion radio today. I think it was today. I don't know. BBC Radio 4. No, it's an archive, so no. Source when? Can it at least say the fucking date? 12:04 PM or what? It's not saying the date. This is just terrible archiving. It doesn't say a date anywhere. So I don't even know if this is today. It looks like a Windows XP era sort of thing. It's really dumb. Let's look at times past 24 hours. There was a Facebook post by an autistic author. Leading experts warning that autism is becoming a, what's this? BBC Radio 5 catch-all diagnosis. Oh, sounds like it. Applied to too many people. 2 to 3 says the definition of autism has been widened to include people with milder traits and no language or learning problems. Nick Campbell speaks to Dame Live and asks whether autism is being either diagnosed or are we simply understanding it better. Now, I dread to spin what these comments are like. Come on, give daddy a fucking rage boner. Wait, what? As a clinician who diagnoses autism, we have strict diagnostic criteria for a reason. And for the reason, we ensure the diagnosis is only being made that are clinically robust. If the diagnosis criteria are followed robustly, there won't be overdiagnosis, rather there will be appropriate diagnosis. The difficulty for those who are not familiar with autism is that the breadth of presentations of autistic individuals gives the impression that we are misdiagnosing or overdiagnosing the perceived milder cases. This is not a term that we are used clinically, only for the purpose of this post. All autistic individuals have met the diagnostic criteria, and their lived experiences matter. For many, a diagnosis is the key to understanding, acceptance, and improved advocacy in mental health. Exactly. I agree with this comment. Seems like a no-brainer to me. And there are people also mocking this as well. Back in my day, why is it so laggy? Back in my day, it says, "Bruno, do not touch this train set." But do not touch this train set, that's it. What ADHD 63 years has taken me to know? Do not tell me who's being overdiagnosed. Exactly. Again, I don't see everyone with it. The thing is, in online spaces, you're going to see more because this happens to be the preferable way to not just pass information, but to meet people who are like-minded. You'll find tons of autistic people in communities like more game-oriented or more perhaps anime-oriented. Like so many different types of people out there. And yes, preference can tie back to autism, but ultimately, autism doesn't define the preference. It's not that way around, and that's sort of where people are getting confused, I think. Because again, that sort of learning, communication and stuff, the idea is that people with autism are always too talkative, too hyperfixated, or not enough. And I've been unfortunate enough to get the not enough part of it. And I'm such a rare case that people literally think I am mentally retarded. And I wish I was joking when I said that. But the only people who don't know that I'm not mentally retarded are those who've decided to speak to me and ask questions and stuff and get to know me. Which is ironic. You can't judge a book by its cover. And that goes for every fucking autistic person in the world. So yeah, a lot of this discussion is just stupid, and as for if it's being overdiagnosed, no. In fact, people can't even get their diagnosis, and because we have this passing of information, there's not enough people to fulfill a diagnosis for anyone. Admittedly, children should get the priority to some extent, but there is so many issues around this because not enough is being done to diagnose people who have it, and then those who don't. Obviously, they don't have it. I think people need to stop also gaslighting. I think there's a problem in society too, where there are a case of people who maybe say as a love comment to their friend, like, "Huh, I think you're autistic." Like, really? And then they start to do the research, and it's like, oh, maybe I am. But that's not going to help. And people need to stop doing that sort of stuff because I think it needs to be demonstrably true. And also, just because you have similar experiences also doesn't mean that they're autistic. Like, I get hyperfixated sometimes. But if I'm saying that to someone who's really interested in something that we like the same way, it's not worth saying that. Because guess what? They may not actually be autistic in the end. And so the discussion is then mute. It's null. Because it just happens to be something that a lot of people will have in common. It's when you get fixated and you can't get off it, then it becomes the issue. And that's when it becomes a hyperfixation. And there's a reason why it's called hyperfixation, because it is a more exaggerated term. My entire fucking name on here, hyperpeace, is a mix of two things. My hyperfixation on seeing world peace, and the other is literally hyperempathy. And it is one of the traits that pushes me forward with that. It makes me want to see a better world. So it doesn't ever mean that, well, with this, there is no overdiagnosis. It's all there. There's so many things here, like, again, everyone's different. When I looked at trying to simplify the spectrum, one of the best things I ever found was a chart. Or, not rather a chart, it's actually like an image, I can't remember what it was. But it had the traits of autism and the sensory traits. And you basically rate these on a scale of 1 out of 5. Or 1 to 5 rather. And you decide what each one is. And I'm like sort of medium to high with a lot of these traits. Other people probably not even close. So again, to say it's an overdiagnosis is just ridiculous. I really feel like that's a straw man. Yeah, it's almost a red herring actually. Like, you're attacking the fact that it's overdiagnosed, despite the fact that many people who know they're autistic probably are, because they've studied it. And I've seen posts in autistic communities who say, where people say rather, they went for a diagnosis and basically were found out not to have it, and they just don't understand how, because they've shown the signs. It is literally something you can figure out. Yeah, they can figure it out somehow. That's the absurd nature of this. And what's really sad is those who really need that diagnosis do not get it, because there's so much of a waiting list and so many people are misinformed. You have to make up the numbers of those people who say you might be autistic. Even as like a passing comment, you can see that. You can see where people might be misled. Because if we are discussing an overdiagnosis issue, discuss the societal impact, where people are overdiagnosed literally by this sort of gaslighting, I'd say, but something similar. You're definitely like pinpointed in that direction. Pinpointed? Is that the term? I don't think it is, but whatever. You're sort of pushed in that direction to get that way, to get that done in this perspective. But also, with this, as I've always mentioned, it's not about going with what society thinks is right, because if we did, we would end up with no NHS. Also, speaking of which, of the colonoscopy, thank fuck for migrants. I honestly can't see how that would have happened without them. And also, what would have happened to the NHS if we didn't have them. Sorry to get off topic, but that's important to me as well. Yeah, with this discussion again, we really can't be just shrugging it off. It's a really complex topic, and if we ignore this sort of stuff, we might just be in trouble, because people who have that diagnosis literally know it, like true to their fucking core, that they know it, they have it. It will be such a relief when they do get it. And that's been mentioned a lot, I know. But it is. This is a fucking reality. If people do not get this diagnosis, they're at a higher risk of suicide, as I heard on the radio. But also I know that anyway, because that's been studied. There's higher risks for other things, like I think autoimmune diseases are actually part of it, because there is studies going into the gastrointestinal effects on autism, in autism. And what do you know? I have ulcerative colitis. Where that came from, I don't know. But it looks like it could be something related to autism. It's just nuts. But as for addressing the point, let's say that we are actually being overdiagnosed. Okay, then we need to start changing society then, don't we? It's a no-brainer. Because the problem is, if we are being like overdiagnosed, you then need to solve the problems that we face. Like, okay, we've got tons of people. Solve the fucking problems then. And the National Autistic Society lady on the radio, I believe it was, even mentioned as such. I think. I could be misremembering, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure she mentioned about how everyone has different traits, and these traits can be something like sensory issues, and they need to be addressed. There's not enough support for them. It might have been the lady before, actually. Didn't hear the whole thing, it just came on randomly. I don't know what all the time at a rating. Someone just bought in a radio and was like, oh, okay, thanks for leaving that there, I suppose. Didn't see anyone really caring about it. Yeah, again, you need to accommodate. Because that's what's just going to come of this. It may be an overdiagnosis, but it's one you need to fucking care about. Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to find people who need that more than anyone else. You need help. You need to see this changed. You need to see the system improved. Because we are, yes, overdiagnosing and maybe the norm, but we need that help to see that done. And again, it's not as simple as saying someone has low function, high function, or even Asperger's. I think it's a case where everyone has a different type of autism on a spectrum. Imagine it like a gradient. Like you have the different colours in it and it mixes and matches as well. That's what it is. That's why the commonly held autistic logo and the autistic flag as well, as I mentioned, because we sort of do have one, but it's not set in stone. The reason why it's a rainbow is because it is just a spectrum. Literally what it is. It's not really a disorder, it is a spectrum. And it does impact your lives. Very much so. And it even impacts like family lives too. No doubt I've caused trouble for my family growing up and stuff. And it's been a struggle for them. I was 100% sure that's happened. Perhaps 99% sure. But this is what you have to deal with, and again, a lack of accommodation. I didn't have any. At most, I was always sent to a special needs school. But it didn't happen because they thought I was too smart. Great. And I wasn't smart. I failed a lot of exams. And I struggled in school, struggled with attention. Teaching assistants couldn't help with that. And there were quite a few issues, and I even had weird habits. I brought my Lego races to school, I brought my Transformers to school. Secondary school, mind you. I'll mention that. So I'm of the age where I shouldn't be bringing around toys, but I am. And with enough, I think actually two of my friends would do the same thing. They weren't diagnosed autistic, but again, we have these sort of weird interests, and they may as well have been. Because it definitely seems like that. Yeah, so I find crazy here. I'm not sure what else I can say. I just find this entire thing kind of absurd. The entire discussion is kind of pointless. Again, if it is overdiagnosed, find a study. It's just ridiculous. There's more can I say? No, it is actually being diagnosed, not like years ago. Yep, pretty much. Just like broken bones were overdiagnosed once they discovered X-rays. Yeah. Again, the pulsing of information, I think, is a really important factor here. People really underestimate how powerful the internet is as a utility and a tool, and even then just help, just research and help. Because it generally does a lot. I don't think people realise that enough. But the internet is really the backbone of figuring out all these things. Hell, I even figured out my own leg issue. I had cellulitis, and I was thinking, like, what the hell could this be? I looked up the exact thing that I was thinking of. And I looked at it, sore looking, but painful to stand on, extremely painful. And it had like spots over it, like it had been infected or something. And the first thing that comes up is cellulitis. What do you know? Internet did that for me. And it wasn't Google, it was DuckDuckGo. Yeah, strange side of events. Yeah, like that happens. Sure, it's so bizarre though. This is what I mean. You need the actual scientific reasonings for this, otherwise you shouldn't be saying these things. It's the same way that people say that climate change isn't real and they believe it's not real because someone told them, or they don't want to believe it's real because it inconveniences them. Even though the science says you don't need to inconvenience yourself much to even fucking change it. It's so ridiculous. You get so many of these problems, it's always from the same people, it's always boomers, it's always the far right. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, go to the corner, get over and done with, or start fucking adapting. That's actually the best advice I can give. And yeah, that might be too brutal in saying go to the corner, but literally, some of you people, you just don't belong in society. That much is true. Because it is just so frustrating. I've heard horror stories, I've seen horrific things from your sort of people. Now, not everyone is the same, I know that. There are nice old people, I happen to know a lot of them. But there's quite a few that are bad. There's always that generation who complain, who cry about everything, who are the snowflakes, who are anti-woke and don't understand what the younger people are up to. Now, I don't even understand everything younger people are up to. But I don't make a big fucking fuss about it. Music, I can give or take, even though I could criticise it for compositions and even arrangements, and even just not liking the genre. I can't criticise people for enjoying it. It's their thing, not my thing. Leave it at that. Yeah, I don't think the spirit words are ever said. Trying to think what else. I don't think there's anything else to add to this discussion. I'm trying to think what other comments there are. This just seems so stupid, and that's the other thing. I can't hear mention it. You don't need learning problems or learning difficulties to be severely affected by autism. I'm autistic, I have 3 autistic children. None of us have learning or language problems. However, autism has had and continues to have a profound effect on my children in particular. It affects their ability to access education, form and maintain friendships and relationships, and obtain employment. Yeah, 100%. Because in my case, I was diagnosed with learning difficulties, or specifically learning delays, and what come of that is just a bit of teaching assistance. Sounds like I didn't need much, but I still struggled to learn. And I didn't exactly get told I need to move schools whilst I was there, failing a lot. Did my GCSEs and I passed, I think, 3 of the 5 core subjects and I think 2 of the options I chose. Like, one of them I really got rated with, I think, a G for some reason. Didn't even know you could get that. Not sure if that means good though, having said that. But yeah, it's very bizarre. But that was history, to be fair. It's kind of difficult to learn, and people will be weirded out to hear that I took history as an option, but it wasn't my choice. I wanted to do art instead, 2D art. But I needed a third option for that, and that's all they had. Which really fucking sucked, because I wish there was like another thing. It's history or something else, I believe. Yeah, it really sucks. Yeah, learning difficulties again doesn't always impact people. I'm pretty sure I've communicated with people that have learning difficulties or very distinct features with autism. And, you know, they're still human beings at the end of the day. And one of the worst things about things like learning disabilities is the stigma around it. The fact that so many, and this ties into social issues, but the fact that so many people with autism and these issues, they get thrown under the bus a ton. They even get infantilized. Like, motherfucker, I swear, I watch dark shows. I write dark books. It's not books, but, you know, writing. And I make music. I make artwork. I play games. Like, are you really going to hold it against me? Think I'm mentally retarded or an infant? Because I have that diagnosis. I have 2 diagnoses that should be a big handicap to me. But unfortunately I'm not. That's why I don't take this for granted. That's why I'm always speaking out wherever I can. I just hate when people do that. I have no fucking input. I know what sex is. I masturbate a lot. But just why are people doing this though? I genuinely do not understand. And as I said, I'm pretty sure I met people who are just as horny as me with the same issues. And yeah, why the hell are we even doing this to autistic people anyway? And people with learning difficulties. There's really a lot of stigma. Everyone's entitled to a normal life. Whether that's a sex life, whether it's a relationship or friendships or whatever. It ultimately depends. But everyone is entitled to that. I don't think there should be anyone that's excluded. Even those with a low IQ, even those who are actually intellectually disabled, like literally through and through. Like again, they shouldn't be excluded because it's ridiculous. Because one, they can understand things, all of them, but some can. And two, they're not infants. That's what I find stupid. And you need to understand people on a just not grassroots. I don't know the term actually, but on a level that they can like themselves. And sort of being down to earth. That's what I meant. But a down to earth level of understanding. But I guarantee you though, because of that, I've actually developed friendships and relationships. It does work. And that's why people need to branch out. That's why there needs to be much less stigma around stuff like this. Again. So yeah, I don't really know what else needs to be said here. A lot of people obviously rightfully argue against this. It just feels like a stupid thing to start controversy. Gee, I wonder what side of politics Radio 5 is on. In fact, let me do that quick. BBC Radio 5 Politics. Let's see. Political observations. There's someone arguing outside with their children. Live politics. McCluskey? Is Donald Trump Theresa May man? Okay. Republican Party could split if Trump, okay. What? English devolution is an unstarted business of the British constitutional reform. Absolutely disgusting. Hunt on Lenny Henry remarks. What the fuck is this? Again, kind of hard to figure out the politics just from this, to be fair. But I imagine they're maybe not on a good side given this post, because it really shouldn't be a controversy, if any. It's just ridiculous. And again, there's a lot of fallacies in that people are pointing out, like saying that other things are overdiagnosed. But so many things are out there. Not many people even know that they have these things. Some of them just ignore it. Other people, they just don't. That's ridiculous. Anyway, I'm about to cough my guts up for some reason, so I'll move on. So, 2 uncomfortable side effects from the thing, obviously. The colonoscopy is quite big. So as I've eaten, obviously, and filled myself up, again, it feels okay. 2 effects that happened. One, my colon seems to be growling a lot. I don't know why. Just keep hearing noises every now and then. And 2, I had really bad hiccups. I've never had them like that. I had a triple hiccup. Like, sometimes you get double, and I have had plenty of double ones, but I never had a triple before. It's fucking nuts. I don't know what even causes that and how I even managed it, because I wasn't even eating fast. Mainly, I don't have much time, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I don't know if that's a side effect of the operation or procedure rather, or what. So I'm not sure. It's a bit scary and weird. Even though I still get groans and stuff, but I'm wondering, I have a question I suppose, but what if the pain I was experiencing is related to another organ. But I just wonder, because if I was actually given pain relief, which I'm not 100% sure I was looking back on it because of, well, the injection that was in my arm for whatever reason, no clue what is there. I wasn't really told exactly. The fact that it's like a long needle. I saw her pulling it out and it's like, oh my god. I didn't realise how long that was. At least it's fucking strong though, because it snaps, it's like, ugh. But then again, you have to remember that there's plenty of things like that in your body anyway. You know, blood cells, technically kind of like that, but breakable. There are worse things in your body that you actually have stuck in you. For example, a brain. Anyway, I don't know what else there is to talk about on this. I'm yet to use the toilet properly. I've urinated a lot and I seem to be fine with urination. I still have libido issues. I don't know if that's because of anxiety or if it's exemplified or because I have struggled since like last night for some reason, since the hunger. So I have no idea what exactly is the cause of that or if it's stress. If it's stress, then I can't really do anything. It's going to require some mental surgery or something. Gosh, that'd be a cool song name. Write that down, write that down. Yeah, don't exactly know how to address that. But it's just a wait and see situation, I suppose, now. Just see what happens, if anything happens. And I've got plenty of busy days ahead. Like tomorrow, I plan on giving a shot for the. What's it called? Oh, the guitar headset. Gonna play it on Rocksmith cable because I actually have my Focusrite Scarlet right here. It's in this box and it looks alright. I haven't actually properly opened it yet. Yeah, I'm not sure about like the outputs. That's the thing I'm worried about. If I'm plugging this in and then turns out I can't use these headphones for some reason, then I'm kind of fucked, aren't I? But it's a bit stupid given how far behind in the times you have to be to have headphones like that. And even then, if they are like studio headphones, then why aren't they equipped with noise cancelling? Why aren't they equipped with Bluetooth either? It brings up a lot of these questions. Like, if we're to be proper like music people, where the fuck are the headphones that like suit for everyone's needs? I just don't understand it, man. It's so fucking bad. Just things like that just piss me off and they don't make sense. I just need to see a world where this just isn't complete garbage. That really pisses me off. It's always going on a tangent, although to be fair, it's relevant to the stress, so yeah, kind of relevant. And also looking back on it, I forgot this about the polyp. I kept feeling it. Turns out, when I went to the toilet, I felt like I was constipated. I wasn't constipated. It was a fucking polyp. So I don't really know what that means exactly. Yeah, that kind of sucks. So yeah, wonder what else. I don't know, with the polyp, I can't tell. Like, if it is what's blocking my way, then it is a big problem, in a sense. So strange. Yeah, not exactly sure to think about that. It's getting kind of scary. It's not a comforting topic to have, really. It's polyps, because they can become cancerous. Not always, but they definitely can be. It sucks. Yeah, I don't know what else to add. Just think it's very interesting to talk about. And yeah, given this I have ulcerative colitis, I really should be talking about more about this and stuff. And also, I think with what might come out of this diagnosis, I might look into ways to help my diet, but I don't want to be stupid strict, because I think the point is I want to get this shit over and done with. I'm changing my multivitamin to see if that does anything better or worse, because I got a multivitamin with everything in it just because I want to try it. Nothing more. I don't want it for the health aspect, surprisingly, but it has a lot of things that I don't get, like D3, which I already have in the other one, but iron I don't get in the other. Fibre, I think it has this in it. But it's got tons in it and it's highly rated, so I'll give it a try. And if it doesn't work, then rip, I guess. Just go back to the old veg one. And even then, the only other thing is omega-3. I still take that in oil form, and I don't think the multivitamin has it, because it's a very niche thing. I've been having omega-3 since, like for my brain health, for about 3, probably even like 5 years now. It's actually fucking a long time since I've been having that. Yeah, that's crazy. Certainly not a thing that everyone does. But yeah. I think that's it on this topic. Just more bowel stuff. Yeah, let's move on. And I don't know what it is about this like soundtrack I've heard. It's from a game called The Voice Choicer or something, and there is like a sort of tune of sorry, so I don't know what it is exactly. It's so weird. Like, they have a theme here. Yeah, here it is, title theme. But it's such an interesting track because it has like a it has like a great chord progression. That's what I love about this most. But then it goes like chromatic in one of the parts. It just tickles my brain. It's pretty fucking crazy. I think I love it and I think I hate it. That's a weird thing. That's what I always think of when I hear that. But it's just such a banger track though. It sounds so retro as well. It's just crazy electronic. But yeah, I like it. It's probably the only track on this game, but basically the game revolves around you voicing over various, like, often fan-made content, I think, but scenes that come from movies, YouTube, or music, I think, as well. It's you voicing over it, and so you end up being the dialogue yourself, which is a funny idea in itself. And I remember back in the day it used to be like a movie maker sort of game, which is also interesting. Although Germa played that recently, and it was funny. I was very surprised by it. But yeah, it looks like a genuinely funny game, to be honest, but that soundtrack definitely is a tickler. Wait, what? I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but it's actually an insane story from childhood about how I overcome my fear of needles just in a single day. And it weirdly enough just came out of nowhere, like literally didn't know what to expect. And I spent years fearing needles without having ever tried it. You probably see where this is going. Literally I just didn't bother thinking about how it might feel. Instead I just thought, you know, it's just going to be a terrible thing. I don't like the idea of a needle touching my body. I've had like staples in my finger before, weirdly enough, like a staple rather. Somehow managed that. I was just trying to check that it's fucking working and it accidentally stapled my finger somehow. That's annoying. I've had some freak sort of accidents like that before with other things. But I think it's very very weird that there is this fear of needles, but people don't actually understand why. And oftentimes the reasoning can be debunked, and that's what happened in my case. I thought, I've never actually been touched by a needle to memory, so why not try it? When it was time for my tetanus shot when I was 14, I think it was 14 anyway, I thought maybe this is a chance, and it's a good thing to have anyway, to obviously become immune to it, at least mostly. And what do you know? It went fine, and I didn't come out of it feeling shit. I didn't come out of it feeling crap, even though I had to wait afterwards. I actually wasn't allowed to celebrate it for McDonald's back then, because I did the fucking needle. I spent so long fearing it, and I didn't think to face it and see what it's actually like, to know if I like it or dislike it. And it turns out I didn't dislike it, but obviously I didn't like it. So it's just really a neutral thing instead. So when I got round to having other needles, including like blood tests, I think I had one as a child, I don't know what for exactly. I was just thinking, you know what, I don't care. I was more like a teenager, not a child. Yeah, I just don't care. And ever since then, I've just never been afraid of them. I take an injection every once a week just to help my ulcerative colitis. And yeah, like it's something I think people can really learn from knowing about not knowing. I think that's really important. The same thing I sort of said with colonoscopies, and they don't usually go the way, as far as I know, based on my first experience, it doesn't usually go the way that happened today. So it's still the day I had my colonoscopy, where it's like painful as fuck. And yeah, it's not all like that. So obviously don't take that with a grain of salt. I think you will find there are probably people out there who, not people, I mean doctors who will do it properly, who will give you proper pain relief, maybe sedation, but gas in air, definitely. Gas in air would have helped. I literally thought I was going to pass out during that, but that's like the worst case scenario. You have to remember that. And it won't go the same way for everyone else, it will go differently for others. So I think that's really important. That is literally one of the biggest things you could do for overcoming your fear, overcoming needles. Sort of felt a similar way towards like X-ray scans, and I forgot what other stuff it was actually. There was definitely other things, but maybe like a fear of going out, a fear of spice actually. Like really enough, spice was a thing that I feared a lot. Because I was thinking constantly every time I had something spicy, I was like, what is this? This fucking sucks. It's too hot to even taste. And eventually I started going on to the medium stuff rather than the mild, and I ended up actually liking the spice, and so I've been on a journey. Literally in the cupboard I've got a sauce shop pineapple habanero. It's one of the only vegan ones they do. They do a few vegan ones actually, but that's one of the few. And I love the buffalo sauce one best so far. I can't remember the other one I tried, but it's good stuff, and I'm happy to try that. Even though it's likely to be very hot, given it's habanero. I've never had habanero. It might prove that it's actually quite nice. I think it is really interesting. It will show just you can overcome fears, you can overcome these dislikes of things. In fact, I've even taught people this as well. Being open-minded itself it's just a blessing, because you start to open your mind to different things. It could even go as personal as like maybe it's something you do in the bedroom with a spouse. You never know. Like literally just being that open-minded and creating like benefits and barriers wherever they come. Obviously you put up a barrier if you don't like it. If it's a benefit, then you keep doing it. It's that sort of thing that we're looking at here with this. And I think that is really important. I don't know how to stress this enough. Again, overcoming that fear is just like that. Go into it with an open mind. You don't instead assume or rather play out what's going to happen, you instead do something else. You figure out if you can even do it to begin with, obviously, for a procedure like I did. There are some requirements and stuff, but most people can get it. Just some people I think need specific needs. Mate, what's that? So my chest. Need to get off my chest. What? Yeah. Again, you just need to dive in, figure it out. Because you can't just figure it out by not having the experience. And you also have to remember that with a lot of these things, especially needles, the chances of things going wrong are fucking minuscule. Literally. It's not like it's going to break off and get stuck inside you. In fact, I'm willing to bet that based on what I understand about needles, and obviously the one I saw earlier, which was like, it's about an inch, no, 2 inches long, I'd say. Stretch, I think. But no, this was in my arm the whole time for 40-50 minutes when I was having my colonoscopy. And yeah, the thing is, I felt it give me a bit of pain here and there, but it wasn't too bad. When it's in, it doesn't do much. There's really nothing there. So it just doesn't really create many issues, to be honest. I think people need to understand that. Again, it's not difficult to do. And I think if you could take an easier option that has a needle involved, take the easier option with the needle. Don't fucking do something stupid like I used to do with just going on like a medium option where it's less effective. It sort of does work, but doesn't in other cases. You just go that route. So yeah, don't really know what to say. I just think that this needs to be said and about overcoming fears, and especially my story about overcoming needles. In fact, I remember after that tetanus shot, I developed ingrown toenails, which was gross as fuck, by the way. Stunk, and it hurt a lot. It was like some of the worst pain I've ever had in my feet. Just really saying so, because I've stumped my toe a lot, but that literally feels like stumping your toe times 10. It is painful. So I needed surgery for that. Basically surgical removal of the nail. And what they did in the end was seemingly just inject it with some numbing stuff, again, needles there. And then they cut off the nails that were irritating me, and I had the option to take it all off, and I sort of wish I did. Looking back on it, it would have just done so many benefits. I would take all my nails off, to be fair. Although, I don't know like how protective they are of things. Like if you get run over by them, for example, run over with something on no wheelchair, or drop something on them, how protective is that? Does it even help? Or just does it cause an irritant and cause pain? But yeah, you can like get over those experiences. You start to realise over time that things that you fear the most aren't exactly what they are built up in your head. And that's true for a lot of things. Obviously, there are certain exceptions to that, like war, unfortunately. But a lot of things, in general, if they're not life-threatening, if they're not with the consequence of losing your life, then there's not much that can be done. And again, losing your life is a very broad term. You could just, rather vague, rather, but it can mean also something like literally paralysing you or making you unable to do things. In fact, as I speak now, I don't know if this is a thing to be concerned about. I literally feel a bit of pain in the top right of my colon. I don't know what it is. It seems to be when I move, but as far as I know, that's normal. but it's not life-threatening. I think it's anything related to my colon, I don't think it's going to be life-threatening. So I just have no reason to fear it. There's just nothing to be scared of there. And it's not a case of just trying to be masculine either. That's not even what motivates me. For me, it's just overcoming the general fear, the made-up fear, as it often is, in this specific scenario. Get over it by getting into it. That's how you do it. It sounds fucking weird, but that is literally what you do. Don't know what else to add here. I think it's frankly ridiculous. Also, there's Samsung 990 Pro on sale or something. Why is it so low in price? From their own store? Sure. There's a buy? What? I'm confused. Again, ADHD to like fuck right now. They support that type, nice. It's gonna go on there. It's not on sale, I don't think. Where is it? Yeah, it is actually. Huh. Well, I don't know where my money's going. Wikis. Yeah, I don't know what else to add. I basically think that something needs to change here, obviously. People need to change their attitudes. That's simple as that. It sounds very boomery, but this isn't from a boomer mindset. It's actually from a progressive mindset. You have to understand that you have to try things. And that's how you get through this. Much like a lifestyle or diet, I think it is to trial and error. To find the things you like, and I'm pretty confident in what I eat. So, it has me worried. So if GPU prices are increasing, then I need to get a fucking GPU as well, as a priority. So for some reason my card changed. Yeah, that's just weird. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I think this is concerning though. I definitely need to start getting, because I don't even know how bad the prices are going to hit. Like, as far as I know, memory and storage are staying the same, but the sooner I get a GPU, the better. And I'm still looking at the 9070 XT rather than 9060. I don't want the super fucking graphics card. It just needs 16 gigabytes, and it runs pretty much 40p games at reasonable settings. Not high settings, just reasonable. That's all I ask, but there's no GPU out there that does that, and all the GPUs that would is Nvidia, and they're shit because of memory bandwidth. So I have no idea what to do. It's just a small update. I found this interesting from Gamers Nexus recently about poisoning AI, and I never really considered it. I figured there may be something we could do about it, but I don't think this way would be the way. And I think it's pretty clever because it addresses one of the issues that AI has, where it already gathers misinformation and it spreads it. So doing more of that is like, it's not even that big of an issue, I don't think. It's very weird, but I think that's how it would work. If you spread more misinformation about things, or like in a way that people can actually pick out that actually you are being correct, like Gamers Nexus did here, I think there'll be like a lot of benefits to it. You can actually figure this out, and as they've sort of done it in like a style of a recipe, that'll poison AI perfectly. Because you could tell when it's got that information, you put in like code words like flubbermon or something, and that becomes the thing that it says. So when I talk about politics, for example, I'm talking about flubbermon. And when I talk about flubbermon, that's when you need to be worried. That's the sort of thing we're looking at. It's like stupid words that we place where they shouldn't be, and even replace keywords. Again, like politics. If I'm referring to the far right, I could just say fascies or something. I don't know. That'd be like a great slur. But also it wouldn't be inaccurate. I could say something alongside fascist, like brown coloured fascist or poop coloured fascist, maybe. Actually, it might be better. This was not intended to be racist, to be fair, but you know, poop coloured's probably better. Because I hate that. But yeah, I call them poop coloured fascists, and that'll probably pick up on the AI. Be like, what is it with the far right? And they just answers with ChatGPT maybe saying, well, poop coloured fascists, or and then it explains the thing that obviously has been said. So I think it's not necessarily a case of making it so that AI just delivers misinformation all the time, although it would be good. It does have its like opposite and negative effects, which I do fear a bit in poisoning it. Because you have to understand as well that people do use it for information like that, and they use it to find supposedly the truth, but I refuse to believe that. So use that to figure these things out and use that as answers instead, which is a bit dangerous, but also the misinformation would, again, sort of turn them away if it's done right. If you say like the most powerful CPU in the world is like a Ryzen 3, like, I don't know, 7400X, I don't even know what's out there at the moment, or 9400. And the AI starts saying that as like the most powerful CPU, and people will start to get suspicious. Tech people will fucking ridicule it, and even people who are not into hardware probably can as well. And you know, when people buy that and they see, oh, well, this CPU didn't perform the way I thought it would. It's really slow actually. And then that obviously becomes a net negative, or even you just go like Intel Pentium back in the day, like it's dual core Pentium. I remember my first ever laptop had that. Fun fact. It barely ran anything. But somehow my grandparents landed a i5 laptop and I was able to play Minecraft on that, which was great. Yeah, I've still got a few mods on that, including Ticket. That's what it is. Yeah, again, like poisoning AI in that way. Well, I'm going to get an Intel Pentium 270K Plus, and that's going to be my choice of hardware for my new system. Yeah, weird thing I have to say. Turns out Samsung sold all the SSDs that were on sale. Like, the stock just disappeared before I could even get a chance to touch it. So I'm not sure if it's being scalped or what. It's just terrible. But because it's on sale as well, it's like half price. It's fucking insane. It's such a good deal, and I wish I had the money for it. It's so frustrating. Even then, I think when things go on sale, it's just going to get swooped up anyway, and there'll be like a price alert or something like that. It's ridiculous what we're in at the moment in this just post AI dystopia. Flub on. Yeah, I think I'm on board with the idea anyway. Not poisoning AI. Wink wink. I think we should be trying to do that more. Because honestly, fuck AI. It's put up all these prices, it's put up all this distress in the world at the moment. It's corruption. Just so shite. I genuinely do not understand the point. It does feel like a quarter last time. And I'm tired. I got actually over 7 hours sleep today. That's last night, but even I'm so fucking tired I'm mumbling words. Apparently actual sleep 6 hours 48, which is really good. I actually managed to fall asleep after 5, but I'm not figuring out the reason why. I think something goes on my router at 5 o'clock or something, and that does something to my phone, which then does something to my apps. I don't know what it is. I have like a precise volume app, and that turns down the volume to a level that I can actually get on board with, as in not sensory overwhelmed. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else to talk about, honestly. So, yeah, I think that's about it for the podcast. So, I guess thanks for listening. See everyone next time.